and we're fucked. Okay, in all seriousness, even though Bitcoin was the best performing asset of 2024 and of the last decade, today the tables have completely turned. Bitcoin is quickly falling, down 45% from its all-time high. People are getting their entire accounts liquidated overnight. And even Michael Saylor, who owns 3.4% of all Bitcoin in existence, is now more than $6.5 billion underwater. So now that people are once again mortgaging their homes to buy the dip, I think it's critical that we talk about what's happening, the bull and bear case for today's value, how bad this sell-off could realistically get, why some people believe it could be going down to zero, and when you should actually buy in based on the data. Because here's the reality. This sell-off isn't random. It's not retail panic. It is something much bigger, and once you see it, you'll understand why this next move matters so much more than anything else that's happened before. Alright, so let's not waste any time. Here's the reason we're seeing a Bitcoin sell-off. At this point, we really have 5 catalysts that are responsible for today's price collapse, with the first being 1. Investors are turning risk off. As mundane as it might sound, investors are rotating out of speculative assets and into more safe havens as economic uncertainty is increasing. After all, stocks are trading at relatively high valuations. 3 out of 4 conditions are met for AI to be considered a bubble, and with interest rates expected to remain relatively the same for the next few months, Bitcoin becomes a sell the news event, especially as people take their losses for tax loss harvesting. 2. The US dollar is strengthening. Here's the thing, most people purchase Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation, a weakening dollar, and less purchasing power. But when the dollar starts getting stronger, there's less of a reason to buy Bitcoin, and that leads to a sell-off, especially with 4. ETF sales are amplifying the crash. Just consider this, when you go and buy an ETF, that ETF must go and buy the underlying Bitcoin to hold as a reserve. Now, even though this works in favor of Bitcoin when the price is going up and the ETF is buying everything available, it also works in reverse, where people sell the ETF then has to sell the underlying Bitcoin, causing the price to fall, causing people to sell even more of the ETF, causing the price to fall even further, creating a death spiral. On top of that, 4, there's also no more new good news. For instance, a year ago, there was the promise of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. There was optimism around Bitcoin ETFs. It was assumed that we would just continue printing endless money. Gold had yet to steal the spotlight, and Bitcoin was positioned to be a dominating asset that would eventually increase to $250,000, $500,000, and even $1 million. But now, there's no more good news to look forward to.